All right, animal lovers, listen up. News correspondent Sean Dilley from our partners at the BBC is legally blind, and he uses a guide dog to help him with just about everything.
Well, last September, Sean's guide dog of 8 years, Sammy, was set to retire. But he learned he faced a 2-year wait for a new dog because of a nationwide shortage of trainers. Well, since telling his story on the BBC, the charity Guide Dogs has seen a record 4,500 new applications for volunteers.
That's incredible. Sean Dilley joins us now along with Sammy. Sean, always great to see you. First, of course, tell us how important guide dogs like Sammy are for you, and let's see Sammy nice up and close.
Okay, we're going to try and do that. I'm going to mess up framing for the gallery, so I'll pre-warn them. But I will do that. That's all right. I'm going to show you here. Here's Sammy. And as the gallery noticed, I think I said last time we were chatting, guys, I very much like the States, so here I am in my New York Fire Department of New York
very nice
shirt on. So I had the experience of walking around New York without a guide dog, and my goodness, it's I don't know, it's like trying to perfect your Esperanto with a German speaker. It just doesn't work very easily with those diagonal crosswalks, So, yeah, a bit of background. So I was born with poor partial sight, and I'm not just legally blind. I would have been from birth. I am blind. So for me, a guide dog is everything in terms of my confidence and my mobility. When we go out, I don't want to sound trite, but it's a partnership. So I actually have a responsibility and a duty to look after Sammy. He's very much looking after me. And there was a little bit of a story behind this. So as a correspondent, as a journalist, I like to do gritty investigative stories, ideally. And it's somebody said to me as I came on shift one day, Sammy's due to retire. What's going to happen? I said, well, I'm going to have a 2-year gap. And they said, you should totally do some content. And I thought, well, not quite sure I necessarily wanted to do that because I don't want to get pigeonholed. But we did a podcast on BBC Sounds called 5 Minutes On. And my very talented colleague, Gemma O'Reilly, who's producer director of the BBC iPlayer film, Britain's Guide Dog Shortage. Now, theoretically, of course, people shouldn't be able to watch that in the United States, but I appreciate people have ways and means, don't they? But that's on iPlayer now. That's kind of a 20-minute film, and that looks into the bigger issue. So for me, there are 2 points. I don't want anything out of the coverage. I am not going to get a dog any quicker than I otherwise would. But it's not just me who's impacted. As of the end of January, the latest figures available, in the UK, there are 1,130 people on the waiting list for a guide dog in the UK. Wow. Now, look, every guide dog school, of which I believe there are 11 schools across the United States who are members of what they call the International Guide Dog Federation. But the training is very broadly similar. So our training is very similar to leader dogs, let's say, in Michigan, for any viewers out there. The training's considered to be nearly identical. So an awful lot of people have these issues. Canadians, there's a Canadian National Institute for Blind People have their own guide dog program since 2018. I believe last I was aware, in sort of September, they'd trained 58 dogs by that point. But Canadians are having to do what they did before, years gone by, and cross over the border to America. I should let you guys back in because I'm a mind of information about this because I live it.
You are, but it is wonderful. In fact, we're running out of time, but it is wonderful to hear that there was such a reaction to the story that you reported. I think it speaks volumes, doesn't it, Sean, about how people really, when they are made aware of a problem, they make a decision to act. And we've seen that now with these guide dogs and the surge of volunteers.
I think that's right, because the biggest issue, according to the UK charity Guide Dogs, is they didn't have the volunteers initially to do the puppy raising. Off the back of the 4,500 who volunteered, 3,900 of them are for puppy raising volunteers. They now have this rather nice problem as a charity, I'm told, where they can't, they're having to process these applications. Now what they need is people to look after them when they're in advanced training, people called fosterers. So look, do you know what? If journalism is impact, we've had that.
Well, Sean Dilley, you've been a part of that impact, and we appreciate you sharing your personal story with us and Sammy's beautiful face as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, New York.
Thanks,
Thank you, CBS.
Thank you, Sean.